Welcome to Nxt Up, a weekly podcast focused on bringing new and undiscovered music artists to the spotlight. I'm your host, David. The subject of today's episode will be extravagant music. Now, I personally know the people behind this group, Max and Nolan, and I've been able to see their music progress over time, and it's quite incredible to me how far they've come. Now, for this episode, I'm going to be breaking down 3 of their songs, playing you snippets of each, and then giving my feedback and thoughts on them, why I like them, and why I picked them for this episode. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into extravagant music. This first song I'm going to play for you guys is called You Know. I'm going to skip to the 3 parts of the song that I think are important to highlight, the first part of the 2 verses, and the hook. What I really like about extravagant music's music is that they try to combine the sounds of a lot of different artists. This song in particular, it really reminds me of the song Do What I Want by Lil Uzi Vert, but the beat kind of reminds me of something that I would hear on Playboi Carti's Die Lit. So it's really nice to see this blend of sounds that they're bringing together. Going back to that Lil Uzi Vert Do What I Want, I'm going to play you a little snippet of the hook from that song so you guys can understand what I'm saying.
Now I do what I want. 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 Everybody know I.
This use of influences within your music is nothing new to the SoundCloud rap game, but it's often that we see that they don't really try to progress past what the original song is or the influence that they're taking cues from. In this case, I think extravagant music did a really good job of blending different styles together. The vocal delivery does sound like Lil Uzi Vert, but the beat really is what contrasts and sets them apart. As in Lil Uzi Vert's song, the beat is really like mellow, crisp, and bright. In their case, the kind of over compression that their song seems to have just gives it this really like loud and gritty sound that really does play in their favor later on. Overall, the hook is a very solid hook. Lyrically and technically, there's not really much going on, but it does what it needs to get done, and that's to create energy and hype at the beginning of the song. And that energy catches the listener's attention and keeps them on cue for whatever comes next. Next, I'm going to be playing you a snippet of the first verse.
People be saying I'ma keep rapping the same one game. I don't be changing, yeah, I say the same. I'm gonna do it for all that I claim, making myself a new name.
Sonically, this verse was pretty much executed perfectly. The beat just kind of goes out after when the verse starts, and it's just kind of like this drone beneath his voice. And then when the beat comes in, it just comes in 10 times harder than when you heard on the hook, and you're just blown away by the energy. So the execution on this was really well done, and although I didn't play the whole verse, and there's a lot more you could listen to, and I encourage you to listen to it, we just need to move on because of time, and I want to get to other songs that they have as well. So next, just to finish off, I'm going to be playing you the second verse so you guys can hear just kind of how the song builds up and how it flows through the whole track.
I cannot make it. This is that I just been changing. That'll hurt my motivation. I'ma keep working, gotta keep patience. Oh, I got some dreams to pursue. I got nothing left to lose. I got everything to prove. Well, y'all just got nothing to do. Keep telling me I won't.
And that's pretty much all of You Know. Now, this is probably one of my favorite songs. Now, they only have 4 songs out, but I'd rank this one probably as number 2 out of their whole discography. It's just the energy and the delivery, it just fits all the boxes. Now, sonically, a couple problems that I see are just the mix in general. It does sound a little bit muddy, and although I said that grittiness kind of works to their advantage earlier, I think to have this song would have been a little bit better if it was just polished up. You know, the mix was clean, crisp, and because it does sound a bit muffled, but other than that, they just totally killed this track, and I can't wait to see them do more songs like this. Alright, so next up I'm going to be playing their debut single, which was called Want That. Now, this song has actually it's their biggest hit for them, and there's a lot of things that I like about it, but similar to the mix just kind of it's really the only thing taking away from the energy, and I really hope that that's something they can resolve earlier. And I'm not going to spend as much time analyzing as I did the first one. I'm just going to play you all the three parts, the hooks and the verses, just so you get an idea of how the song flows, and then we can get to the third song and I'll give my final thoughts.
Real. Gotta stay humble while honing my skills. I'm gonna make it cause I got the will. I'ma keep working, don't care how you feel. You know that I keep it real. I want my wrist to be wet. I wanna fly from a jet. Wanna pull up your hoe, till I'm my neck, smooth your rent. I just want the lifestyle, I want that shit right now. My neck gon' be shining like a fucking lighthouse. All these I've been working and that shit been paying off. I gon' make it to the top, making hits off my laptop. I'ma make it, I can't stop. NBA, how I ball, yeah. NBA, how I ball, yeah. NBA, how I ball.
For being their debut single, I think they absolutely killed it. First impression is everything, and they did not fail to deliver on this song. Now, there are a couple of mixing issues similar to on and I feel like the recording environment that they're in may not be the best, but nonetheless, their lyrical abilities and their technical abilities, as well as their ability to just make a catchy song, really manifested themselves on this track. And there's nothing really I can say about it in a bad way, because they really just checked all the boxes except for the mixing, in my opinion. And that's pretty much all I got for you on Want That. So the last song I'm gonna play for you guys and break down is called Some Way, and really this is where their musical abilities start to show variation. Now this song is a little bit like almost like I would say like a love trap song, I'd say, and I think the mixing on here is a little bit under the par which they had set with the other two songs, but nonetheless it's good to see how they really expanded themselves and are really working towards not just being a one-track minded artist group, and that they're really pushing themselves to make music that covers all sorts of spectrums while pertaining into the trap genre. So like I did on Want That, I'm just going to play you through the song, highlight the different parts, and then we can talk about it when I come back.
She made me feel something, know where it came from and know if she gonna say something. She made me feel something, she made me feel something, some type of way, some type of way, some type of way. Didn't have to block me, I know you still stop me. Low-key, I know you still want me, but yeah, you could've got me. Now you gotta stop, please. Should've never dropped me. Late nap, I'm alone. Take it slowly. Something about that girl, I don't even know what it is. Never had this feeling before, I don't know what love is. Maybe it was loneliness, or I had no fuss to give. Maybe I just thought she was the one, nah, I wasn't it. Manipulation, that girl left my heart racing. Growing impatient, tired of waiting. I just needed somebody to love.
I think that this song is really interesting for a variety of reasons. Well, first of all, to start off, we have just this style that they chose to go with this song, just this like almost like sad trap beat, which was interesting because it's not something that they've done before in their previous music. Now, like I said earlier, they don't have a lot out, but from what it was looking like, they weren't really going to take this path musically and sonically, but it's a welcome surprise that they did. Um, like I said, the mix quality seems to be a little bit heavy on the low end, but other than that, I do think that they're just, like I said, their delivery is really what sets them apart, because they always nail it no matter the circumstances of their recording environment. Even if they're a terrible place to record, they always make the best out of it, and it really showed here when they had their little auto-tune singing, and it just fit perfectly with the beat. And so props to them for that, for making the best out of whatever situation they're in. Hopefully they really are able to invest a little bit into their setups, maybe get themselves in a better environment to record, because I do think they have a lot of potential, and I'm just waiting to see what they do next. So that pretty much wraps it up for Extravagant Music. Thank you guys so much for listening if you made it this far. Um, Remember, if you're a musician or an artist or just want to shout out, follow me on Instagram at Nxt Up Podcast and DM or email me, and we'll make something happen. Big shout out to Extravagant Music for helping me promote the show for this episode. It really means a lot that you guys are, putting in the time to grow yourselves as artists, but also to kind of watch out for the people around you who are kind of in the same boat trying to make it. So I can appreciate you guys for that. And that's it for today, guys. This is Nxt Up, and I'm David, and I'm signing out. Peace.